Okay, well, I'm sure there's going to be more people who are going to join as we go, of course, as always. But today's class is your more advanced version of AppFiles. This is, of course, I cover a ton in the basics of AppFiles. There's a lot to cover, and I will be reiterating a few things, but this is taking the next step. In the original class, I covered setting up your account, creating your first app file, going through the process of pulling in your files, all the important documentation. I went over how to import values, which I will go into a little bit further today. So this is kind of checkpointing all the things you know, and if there's any questions you may have, I'm also going to pull in a few features that y'all may not know about that would maybe benefit you in different ways. That's what this class is all about. So the first things that I want to cover today is I have had a few items that I've got my notes here, of course, got tons of notes, but I have a few items that brokers have requested that I just reiterate, like come back and bring up just to make sure everybody feels comfortable about these particular items. The first item I'm going to be going into is our settings, because there's a lot of agents who've used it, like for instance, what was just mentioned, who've used AppFiles for a while, and maybe they need to go back and make some slight changes. One item I'm going to cover in settings is under your email footer. A lot of times there's some edits that people have made to their signature, whether they've added some new designations or if their phone numbers have changed. To remind y'all that you need to come back in here and put in a new footer. Now the process is extremely simple. Right here, there's a copy button. When you click copy, it will copy this particular address right here. You can do it two different ways. You can right click and copy, or you can click the copy button. The reason why is you're going to open up a blank email with just your signature in it, and you're going to send that blank email to the system to update the signature. So give it a little time to refresh after you do so. I'll do a quick example. Let me make my window a little bit smaller so I can still see the chat box. So say I'm in my email right now. I've copied that email address. I'm going to create a new email real quick. I'm going to paste in that email address and say, for instance, I have now become the technology guru now. Okay. Subject line could be signature. And all you have to do is send it into that email. Give it a quick second to refresh. I was going to say Pumbaa, whatever I could think of, but but that will take care of your signature line. So you'll close it. You'll refresh your signature. You'll refresh your app files. You can go back into your settings, check your email footer, and you'll notice now I am the technology guru now. Just as simple as that. Just a little bit of housekeeping goes a long way, of course. Same with your user photo. I've had Ernie here for a while, but in 9 years, I also got a brand new headshot. So if I want to clear my current photo, say okay. Let's let it work its magic and remove my headshot. I'm going to go browse and I'm going to grab my brand new headshot that I had taken. I'm going to select my new headshot, say open, start the upload, and now I have a new headshot in my app files. These are just little items that I know a lot of times agents forget that this is here. So just go back and make these quick changes, of course. Now you can see my nice little headshot. All right. So another item I want to cover that brokers have mentioned is the merging and splitting of documents. It's very important. I'm going to bring up this quick example real quick to show you the process and how easy it is to do so. Okay. So I have all my sales documents over here, and then say I want to merge them together. Let me make my window a little bit larger. Okay. So right here on the far left side, there's a merge paperwork option. I'm going to click on the merge paperwork. You'll see that there's a selected forms. You'll see the available forms that you have. You can put them in one by just clicking on them, and they'll populate on your right side. So one by one, I can add each one. Okay. You can also move these documents in different orders. So this little green line button right here, you can move the document wherever you want in this moment. Oops, let me move it up. And then merge your selected items. Now it's 35 pages rather than the individuals they are. Okay, pretty nice. Your staff is probably going to split them apart anyway. You'll probably end up splitting them too as well. There's a situation, for instance, if you had a counter offer and you needed to incorporate it into this merged document. Okay, so I'm going to click on the split forms option to break up this merged form so that I can add in my counter offer into this document. So you would select your documents, select all, still going into my sales docs, and I'm going to split my selected forms. Now you'll see over here, my documents are back split apart. That way you can incorporate your counter offer with your original purchase and sale, adding in your item. Do you have any questions about merging and splitting? It's just a great item to have. Thanks for the thumbs up, Emily. All right, so that's one item that I wanted to cover on my list. Another item, of course, reminding everyone you can edit the email address that's tied to any AppFiles. A lot of the top tier agents, they have it as their contacts information, for instance. So if I clicked edit and instead of this, I want it to be Sally Mae, so I can remember it easier and have it in my phone under the contact, so that when I want to send a document straight off my phone into AppFiles, you can. You'll just select that email address, put it into your new email, and you'll have it ready. Click Save Changes. Now you know this AppFiles email address is Sally Mae now. It's a nice little feature to remember. Okay, so I'm going to close up.
So Drew, can you give an example of why someone might want to email something that Sally Mae may have sent over to them into AppFiles? Are you recommending that more as so they can have records of emails that were exchanged between them and that particular client?
See, I think of it more of the way of getting the documentation quickly from whether it's my mobile device or whatever, that I can easily grab that email address that I know and send, for instance, floor plans or any documentation that I don't currently have into this AppFile so I have it for record. That's how I think of it.
Perfect.
Do you have any other options that you would think of?
No, that's perfect. I just wanted to have an elaborated example so people might understand how they would use that function. So that's awesome.
Of course. All right, so the next item I want to cover is kind of thinking for more of a staff situation. Oh, I've got a quick chat. So I got a quick question. It says, when I copy the email, it always pastes a lot of extra. Is that the case for everyone? If you click on this copy button right here, it's going to probably have, I'm assuming 000 Peachtree Road in front of it and a bracket behind it. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah, and so in that scenario, yes. So this would be you keeping it on your phone, so you know this is the only, but if you can, just keep this. But if you use it, for instance, when you're trying to pull in documentation from, for instance, our docs, take off the front, clear off the 00 Peachtree Road, take off the bracket on the back, because they only want to see the email address. Yeah, or else it will not send, because it's not technically an email at that point. So just make sure this one's in your phone so you can easily plug it. All right, so there's some offices that actually use AppFiles for marketing material and request. One option I do want to cover is this option right here, which is your photos option in AppFiles. So for instance, if you want to have photos in your AppFiles to share with a contact or with your marketing coordinator, this is a great option. When you click on the upload photos option, you'll have a window just like all the other ones when you're bringing in headshots. You're going to browse. And I'm going to go to my AppFiles folder where I have 123 Easy Street. Okay, so I have a few photos of my listing. You can click and shift select the last one and add them all in as files into this document. I'm going to hit start upload. Hopefully this won't take too long. I didn't even think about how big these pictures were. I just snagged them for marketing. Go. Am I? Uh-oh. Oh, it's over here on this side. That's right. All right, so now you'll see that the photos that I've uploaded are attached to this particular app file. You can also select all, and you can convert it into a PDF within your app file if you want to send something quickly to someone through app file. So for instance, if you want to send this gallery, you can send this gallery of photos through app files. You can convert the PDF, name it photos, and the destination is correct, create the document, and these photos will become its own document within inside of AppFiles for you to share. Come on. No. Last time I did this, this was very quick. Is anyone in this call at this moment using AppFiles for marketing collateral and requests from their marketing coordinators? You are? Awesome, awesome. So this would be a great way of sharing your photos to them, and it's just always have that free link for them to get to it.
Drew, a quick question. Would you suggest that like all your photos, like, so if you have a listing, like it's your new listing or whatever,
Of course.
just upload all of the photos that you're going to use on MLS or FMLS to the app files?
Or yeah, so when I was a marketing coordinator, we started using AppFiles for this. A lot of times agents would the reason why they would use this, they would select the exact ones they want on a flyer so that there was no back and forth. They're like, hey, Drew, there's 5 pictures in my app file for the flyer, and they're the ones that I would like to use. So that marketing coordinator doesn't feel like they're selecting the photo for you. It's a great way to handle it. I really do like it. Also, I know a lot of agents that used to upload their description, say it's different from FMLS. They would upload the PDF of their description and let the marketing coordinator know it's in there as well. So, yeah. Well, this is going a lot slower than I expected. So I'm just going to close it because I don't know how, maybe it's because these pictures are so large. I did grab some high-res pictures, so. But what it would do is it's going to create a document that comes over here on this side as general paperwork as the photos in a PDF format, just page by page of photos. And that way you can add it and share it however you want if you want to email it out to your contact. It's a nice option. All right. All right. Well, so with that in mind, so say for instance, you have a document and you're going to need to use a document again in another app file. Say you're relisting a listing, or you're going to open up an app file where you have to create a new listing for it. One thing you can do in app files is you can bring over a document to another app file. So I've opened up this sitemap and say I have another listing. You can use the action option to move to another app file. Okay. So for instance, if you have these really great exterior photos of a high-rise eclipse or something like that, you can bring those photos over to your other app file. I know that happens a lot. I know some people who've sold the same house 5 times. So, you know, it'd be nice just to pull that information over. So I'm going to click on the move to another app file. All you have to do is have the app file already available. So I'm going to change this to 01. You'll see that Peachtree Road 01 is now available. I'm going to click on it. It check marks that it exists, and it's going to move that document over to the other app file. Now, one thing I would have recommended, I probably should have done that first, is you can duplicate it as well. So when you have the document open, Emily, I could have sworn you could duplicate a file. Well, I'll have to look. I could have sworn you could duplicate it first. Just make sure there's another one before you move it. That's my big thing. Just make sure you have it in there. If you're keeping that document in there. If you're relisting, of course, it doesn't really matter at that point.
Maybe copy would work under the actions, copy.
Let me see. Yes, thank you. I'm so used to using the word duplicate. I'm sorry. I was looking for duplicate. Oh, app files. So make a copy first before you send it over to the other app file.
It's only Thursday.
Oh, don't do that to me. Oh,
Are we gonna get an update next week that AppFiles has been changed from copy to duplicate?
no, don't you do that, Amanda. That's not fair. I'm sure on my YouTube, my YouTube video, you're all gonna be like, don't forget, Drew, copy. All right. So I've had my moment. The next thing I'm going to cover is a new feature. Some people who have not attended my basic class recently should know that I'm in my purchase and sale. When you scroll down, special steps have a new feature, and it's amazing. You don't have to copy and paste your special steps any longer. Now you have the opportunity to select special steps. So I'm in my purchase and sale. I'm going to click on the special steps option, and you'll notice there's now a button that says show. Extremely awesome. How many times I've had to answer the question, yes, you have to copy and paste it. I don't have to do that any longer. But I will say if there is a specific special step that you use, you can have it already in your form values. Something to think about. If you know you're going to reuse it over and over again, it can be in your form values for that purchase and sale. It's a nice shortcut. That's what this class is all about. Shortcuts making your life easier. So when you click on the show option, you'll see your special steps. You can type in the one you would like. Say I select this one. Scroll down, you'll notice that it says you can insert at the beginning, you can insert at the end, so you can have the order of the steps you're adding. It's right here. So say I've selected, I'm going to insert at the beginning. There it is. Say I want this one, insert at the end, it comes in after it. It's all about the order of which it's in there. Okay. And then you're going to save changes, and now you'll have your special steps in there. Do you have any questions about this? It's a great feature. It's been needed for a long time, in my opinion.
Drew, can you, once you've put those special stipulations in, can you drag and drop if you need to reorder them?
So you can cut and paste it if you'd like. So say I cut it, press enter, paste it down above it. Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem, seriously. The main thing is it's there and it just populates in. Can't beat it. Click Save Change, and you have your steps there and they're in place. It's an awesome feature. No questions? We good? Yes. I'm glad I get to see agents' faces. This is great. All right, next feature. Okay, something that irks me like crazy, but I want to bring it up because it's so important. Signature request. Okay, on this primary window, on your tab at the top, the signature request tab, remember you can track your signature request. If they said they haven't got it, you can click to resend your signature request. You can cancel your signature request, okay? I have people that ask that all the time. Well, what if I just need to close it? You can cancel the signature request. There's nothing wrong with that. This is your way of tracking what's happened as far as how many signatures have happened. Just a reminder on this. I get a lot of questions about signature request on here. Okay, let's see, what else do I have that the powers that be? Okay, so, and this could be kind of a duh moment, of course. Naming conventions. Naming conventions are extremely important for every document. To have a clean app file, make sure you have a solid naming convention. If it's an Exhibit A, make sure on your document you have it named Exhibit A legal description. This was a request from 3 different office transaction coordinators because they say that some of the namings that's come in here is just so off the wall. It's very important. Make sure you name it Exhibit A, legal description. Make sure you have that right with all of your documentation, okay? I'm gonna do something really quick too. So also, naming at the top. If you're working with a buyer and they know what listing they want, Go to your edit. Make sure you change your file name to the listing itself, okay? Some listing transaction coordinators also search by FMLS number. If you can get the FMLS number in here, that's very important because that's how they search for it. That's a request from them. So any information you can fill in, fill in. It's very important. Also, let me add another document real quick. Add in a purchase and sale. Okay, so say you have a purchase and sale that didn't get signed and it is useless and you need to get rid of it. Okay, you can move it into a trashed section. One thing that a lot of agents do is they create a new section they call trash. Okay, you can name them any way you want, but have a new section, name it your trash folder, create section, and move it in. That way you can keep your app files clean. Very clean app file is very important for you and also your transaction coordinators, okay? Creating a new section, keep your files safe. If you want to use what I do here with sales docs for your active documentation, that's one way of handling it. Once again, to get your document in there, all I did was I selected the document that needed to go in. I came up to the very top called section. I created a new section called trash. Okay, some people have it called dead. They have it all kinds of things. Whatever you want to name it, name it. That way you can keep your app files clean for your staff and for yourself. Do you have any questions about that?
Drew,
Yes.
is there a way to standardize that trash folder throughout all app files, or you just have to recreate it each time?
Well, there's going to be something I'm covering at the end of this that might be something that'll solve that, but you do have to add it normally every time.
Okay,
The second part of this class is something I really think would be your way of doing that.
got it.
Cool, I'll show you. So,
Drew, I have a question for you.
sure.
Can you change the name of a document once it's already in, like for instance, in sales doc? And instead of naming it Exhibit A, I want to do Exhibit B or something like that to A. How do I go about changing it?
So in this scenario, I'm going to click on Exhibit A, legal description. I'm coming up to the very top where the pencil is.
Oh, okay, I see it.
And I'm changing, in most documents, including the app file, that is the case. It's a pencil here. So say I want to change it and change it to D, right? After you do this, make sure you click the checkbox, which finalizes the name change.
Oh, great, thank you.
Hey, Drew,
Of course.
is there a standardized nomenclature that our offices want us to use? Do they want us to put Exhibit A, B, and C, and then a description of it, and then the actual F number of the?
So there isn't a standardized way of doing this, but I am a huge advocate of you just talking to your transaction coordinator, letting them tell you how they prefer to see it.
Okay.
Because every transaction coordinator is different. So if they say, yes, I would like it to say Exhibit A and then what it is, there you go. It's a one-time question and you get your answer. Same with the naming convention for your app files. If they want it to be the address dash app or dash FMLS or dash your buyer name, then that's your structure from there on out.
Okay.
I always encourage that. Same with working with marketing coordinators, however they want between you two. I would love for there to be a standardized version, but there's so many outliers in real estate. So that when they come from another company, they have their way. So best way, work with your office staff and see what they prefer. Cool. All right. So that covers that. Also, if you're working with somebody, you need to add a user. I get this question a lot. This drop down here will allow you to add a user to your file access. Okay, within your office. All right, so y'all are going to get kind of a sneak peek on something that's coming up soon. It has not been turned on just yet, just so you know. So it is coming soon. I'm going to switch over to my Cobb Marietta account. I just recently did a video for this, so you will be informed soon. I'm going to bring up my example right here for Peachtree Road. All right, so in AppFiles, you can now have, I'm going to click on Add Forms, your DPN. has a new action. So there's a new DPN property information form. Okay, click add to section. Now I have my DPN form. You know, it's not really that great, but it's new. You can now import values into your DPN form, which saves you time so you don't have to write in everything, right? So say you've done all of your information on your master buyer, which I'm going to be covering in a second. Say you have all that information, you click on import values. You say import from form. These are the forms that you have already filled in, like your buyer brokerage, your purchase and sale. You can go ahead and pull in that data so you don't have to write every single one. So if it's at the tail end when you're turning in your DPN, most of that information is already filled in. You just pull that data in and it's a check mark. So I'll click on buyer brokerage. I'll choose it. It tells me which values are coming into my DPN form. Start import. Done. Okay. Also, especially if you're working with a buyer, you can choose FMLS. You can put in, let's see, I have an example, I think right here. You can put in the listing itself. Oh, there it is. Click search. My Peachtree Road has just come up. I'm going to choose it. And now these values are coming into my DPN form. So this hasn't been turned on just yet, so keep an eye out for it, but this will save you time. That's what it's all about. Start import, say done, and now the address has been put on the DPN form and I didn't have to type it. So the more you fill in, the better, the quicker this DPN gets filled in without you having to type it. So keep your ears out for it. They'll be announcing in sales meetings soon, and they'll be turning on this new DPN form. So y'all are the first to hear about it, just so y'all know. Let's see. Oh, no problem. Of course. All right. So that is, I can't see everything. Let me close out some windows. All right, let me make sure I've covered everything that the brokers could have possibly asked for, of course. I think we're pretty good. Okay. Do I have any questions before I move on?
I've got one. Is there something similar to what you just described coming for, like it'll hold on to the, or transfer the your contacts into the email, so you don't have to put that in every time for all the signatures when you're trying to send out docs for signatures? You know what I'm saying? It's hard to ask that question.
That's a hard. Emily, do you know what she's asking for exactly?
Are you asking if they'll auto-fill?
Yeah, like if it'll save, like a lot of different document management systems, you put the buyer or the seller, and then it auto pops always their name and email address and everything, and it'll just send it out so that you're not having to put it in every time. Like if you're trying to send out for signatures.
Right. I've not seen when I'm sending anything for signatures and AppFiles, I've not seen where it'll automatically pull in the recipient of that email. Unless Jeroen has another shortcut that I'm not privy to.
Not for the email side. No, I don't.
But
that would be a great new item to add.
What about when you fill out the master for that particular file?
Right.
Is it there?
What's that, Al?
When you fill out the master for that particular file, wouldn't it come from there?
I don't know if I don't think it goes for the email side, no, but that'll fill in the data within your AppFiles documents, but I don't think for the email side.
No. But that's what she wants it. Exactly what I just got through saying. Not for the email side, just to have it there already.
Oh, well, okay. Well, maybe I'll cover it in what I'm about to go into.
Yeah,
let me see, because the second part of this class, I'm going over what's called a template in AppFiles. So what you're going to do is you're going to have a template buyer agent file. And I'm going to go start to finish, and let's see if this answers it. Because I think every agent should consider having a template for a buyer, a seller, and so on, so that they don't have to keep grabbing every single item. And some stuff is already pre-filled in for you. just to make life quicker and easier. So in this scenario, I'm going to be creating a new app file, but this time I'm going to be naming it template. Let's see, I have one here. Okay. And I'm going to be working with a buyer this time. Okay. So I'm making a template for the sole purpose of coming and making a copy of it later on. Okay. So I'm going to fill in as much as possible that is generic information on yourself. Okay. So agent name, myself, I'm going to put in buyer here. I don't have to put in the person themselves just yet. So fill in as much as you can. I don't have anything else that I really want. I just want myself and what it's going to be. All right. So I'm going to click next to keep going. If you already have a team member, make sure they're on this for this template because it will be copied and they will be selectable again. I'm going to create the app file. So this is just a template, streamlined template. Okay. So now you have to think, since this is a template I'm going to reuse every time for a buyer, what items do I need in here? So I'm going to go ahead and go to my add forms. And I'm going to start putting in the documentation I know that is important. My buyer brokerage agreement, my purchase and sale. And then also go ahead and start thinking there's so many different financing options. So go ahead and put all your financing options in because whenever you make a copy, you're going to select the one that you know your buyer's planning to use. Okay, cuts out that step of having to go and get it. So I'm going to click here. I'm going to go ahead and add in my, my counter. It's an option. I just want to have some options in here. So I'm going to do the all cash as well. I'm going to put my conventional. And I'm going to go ahead and add a few more. My FHA. Also my loan, VA loan. And last, well, actually, I'm gonna go ahead and do two more. I'm gonna do the GAR 2020 clauses and also my DPN as well. Okay. So now I have all the documents that I would universally use every time I have a new buyer in my app files. Okay. I'm going to add these selected forms to this template. And I will have to split them up because I kind of grabbed them all at once. Okay. So like we covered before, we need to split up our documents. I'm going to click on split forms, select all, and I'm going to split up these documents now. So now I have my template that has the paperwork that I could possibly be using the next time I work with a buyer. Do I have any questions about what I just did there? I want to make sure everybody feels comfortable with this because you'll be able to do this with a seller as well. Okay.
So we just set that up and then we have it there so that we can copy it over every time and we're rocking. Okay.
So
Right.
and the mindset's the same way with this. You need to think of what are some areas that you can go ahead and have in here. And a great area that I always focus on is over here on your right side, your file information fields. Let me minimize this window real quick. So a lot of people, in my first class, I don't really cover this extensively, but the master buyer template and your lender information. So say you have a preferred lender, you could go ahead and have this information in there ready to roll. So I'll do that real quick. I'll go into my lender information. Say I want to do prosperity. So you don't have to write this again in later on. I'll try to type as fast as I can. All right, 776 Whitlock. Okay, phone number. Do I have her number? I do. 318 9489. It's Christine Harper. Just gonna try to get on there. Okay, so now I have her lender information in there. You do not have to click the save button. You just close it, let it refresh, and now her lender information is over here. The reason why this is so important is this is another item that you can import in when you're working with your documents. Okay, so it's more data to pull in. Now, the one that'll take me a little bit longer, but I do want to cover is your master buyer template. When you click on the button that says edit, this window comes up. All of these edit buttons bring you to this exact same window. How many times I've been asked that? They're all over here, so you would just select which one you're working with. So I'm working with my master buyer template. One thing I know for a fact I need to make sure that I have in here is all the information on myself, so I don't have to write it every time. So I'm going to scroll down here to, let me see, seller brokerage firm name. I think I have some that, oh, I didn't populate, but normally it would. Harry Norman Realtors. Okay. That populates in. Let's see how many I can get in here. 404, and I'll just duplicate so I move faster, of course. 7300. And the code for, which one's this one? This is HNBH, say 08. So don't really know what mine is, do not have one. Selling agent name. This is where you would go ahead and start putting in your information. One-time situation, let's put that in there. There's no R. Two. Let's see. Okay, say I'm a part of the association for Cobb Association. Okay, all that information's in there once, just once, okay? That's the value behind this. So I'll have these fields, and I'll close it real quick, and you'll see all my master buyer information over here is available. Once again, this is more items that I can pull in to my documents. Knowing that when I make a copy, guess what I'll have to do? I'll bring up my master buyer template and I'll fill in my buyer's information. That's about it. That way I can import everything in. Okay? Does that make sense while I'm doing this? Okay, I'm just keeping an eye on
Drew, so do you fill it in on the template, or you copy it first and then fill it in once you have the buyer?
So you want to fill in your information first on this template.
Right, that part, but
when you click that copy button and you say, hey, this is for, which I'll go over that in just a quick second. When you make that copy and you say, hey, I'm working with Jacob Hammer, okay? Jacob Hammer creates a new app file with all this stuff in it, and I'll do that for you. But
Okay.
yeah, that's when you would put your buyer information in.
Okay,
And
got it.
then lastly, you would come over to your documents and import your values because everything's in here now, right? Which is really great. So it makes life easier so you don't have to go and get every little thing. You've already filled in your information. You work with a particular lender, it's there. So in this scenario, I've got everything. I can't think if there was any more else I need to add in. Got my lender, got my information, perfect. Okay, so now I have my template. Up here on the top right, there's literally an option that says copy this app file. Okay, that's what this is all about. I've got a template, I filled in my information, I copy this app file. Instead of having it be my template, I'm gonna name it Jacob Hammer. Okay, he's a buyer, he's working with me. Transaction type will be a residential single family home. If there's anybody that needs to be added to this document, I can do it right here. If I'm a part of the team, you scroll down. Any other information that you may already know, great, but I'm gonna click next. And this is what it's all about. I have all my documents already in here, right? All I have to do is deselect the items that I'm not going to be using. So say I uncheck all, but I want my buyer brokerage, my purchase and sale, and it's gonna be a conventional loan, GAR, DPN, okay? I scroll down, I create my app file. So I've done the structure of what my buyer would normally be when I create an app file, but I selected what was relevant to him. And then I click create app file. It gives a quick second to create the copy. Hopefully it'll be faster than those photos. That gives me time to drink some water.
I didn't see where the copy button was in the upper right.
It's right here. Copy this app file. You see it? Perfect, yeah. Oh, okay. So now my new app file is ready. You click on the here, click here to open it. And now you'll see there's an app file for Jacob Hammer. It has my buyer brokerage information, purchase and sale, conventional loan, and all the information that I pre-filled in is over here on my right. So I'm ready to rock and roll. That means I can come in here. I can first, let me minimize it. I hate that I have to minimize everything. Virtual training. I can come over here to the master buyer. I can click edit. I can start typing in my buyer, Jacob Hammer. I'm gonna just use that one. Home phone number, 707, 3 whatever. Okay. Just gonna copy this to show you how it fills in. Okay. Close down, and now I have my buyer's information and my information is now in this documentation. Just as simple as that. I have opened a brand new, I made a copy of this app file and it is ready to roll for Jacob Hammer. So now I come over to my buyer brokerage paperwork. I come up to import values. I can go from form first, grab one from purchase and sale, add on, start import, perform another one. This time I'm going to import from info fields, which is what's on the right side now, which I've put in. I have 16 items now already there for my master buyer template. I'm going to choose it. These are the items that will be pulled in. Obviously, it contradicts against my form values, but that's okay. It's different. Uh-oh, where did it go? My screen. There. So now I can hit start import and say done. And now you'll see the items being populated in for Jacob Hammer. So the more you can fill in your template, the better it is for you for these kind of documentations, but all you have to do is import values at that point. So you're not typing it. Do I have any quick questions about this? Bring up my purchase and sale agreement real quick.
Is this on the Harry Norman YouTube page? This most recent information that you went through?
It will be in the morning. I'm going to put this video up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, every time I do a class like this, I'm going to be doing snippet videos as well coming up, but this one will go up literally in the morning so you can refer back to it to reference it. So I've got my purchase and sale. Once again, I can pull from my info fields. I've got 16 values to grab. I'm going to choose it, pull it in. This is what's coming in. Start import. If I want to perform another import, say I want to go grab the listing information from FMLS as well. Hit search, choose the listing. This is the information that's coming in from the listing to my purchase and sale. I'm going to acknowledge that this is the right data, start import, and say done.
So even though you have set up a master template and you've set up a master info sheet, you still have to import the information?
That's correct. I just don't have to write it every time. That's the main reason for creating this template. Your master buyer information will just be mirrored over every time you work with a new buyer.
Because in our docs, once you set up the template, it automatically populates. You don't have to import it. So are they going to be looking at something like that as a future feature?
Not that I know of at this moment. It's all import values.
Okay.
I wish that'd be great, of course, because you've done the legwork that it would mirror into it, but not at this moment.
Okay.
Sorry. But do y'all find this to be a valuable option? I'm trying to think if there's any, does anyone have any, let's see, I've got a quick chat button. Yes. Does anyone have any quick questions? This class was, scheduled for really to be an hour, but I got a lot more covered quickly. I would love to take any questions. Amy and I are on the call right now if y'all have anything you're curious about.
I have a couple questions. I just started using the, since RDocs is blowing up, I've been forced into this and it's actually kind of cool. But my two problems are, how do I move signatures? Like I have this that I got signed, and my signatures, they auto-populated, but they don't sit where they're supposed to. So I can't click and grab them like I can do in RDocs, and I'm really bad at guessing. Like I finally figured out that I can delete them, but when I'm putting them back on there, I do it like 7 times and
Okay. But it's recognizing as a signature field, correct?
It's recognizing as a signature field, correct.
So have you tried clicking on this edit button and moving that element?
So I've used that edit button a lot. I don't know that I've tried. I can't slide anything over.
So
it's mainly initials on a single line. So like just the exclusive listing agreement, this happens to be, do they want a home warranty or not, or which one do they want? Some of them land correctly, but other ones don't. So I need to pull a document out of my pile, which I don't know. I'll mess with it till I can and have them re-sign it because it didn't, like it's worthless to me because it's signed, you can't see this, but it's signed in the print. Like it looks like it's not signed, even though they've done it. So
Hey, Drew, you can make the change. You can move that element. Just double click on it. Once you have the signature or initials there, if they're in the wrong place, just double click and they'll change to a different color. And then you can drag it. You can just move it.
That's what I needed to know. So just double click on everything and got it. Okay. And I have another question for documents or for signatures. How in the heck do you just make the date appear? So instead of me typing it in at 11:30 at night, guessing if they're going to try to sign it tonight or tomorrow, so I can do the date under the name. I don't know how to stick a date. I think it's on.
you can, have you tried adding the element for the timestamp?
So I do. So I haven't figured out how I separate them. I figured out how I do signature and timestamp together. But like, for example, on a document that I'm importing from somebody else, like a listing exclusion clause, I have to fill a whole bunch of spaces in, but I don't know how to, here's your signature, sign here, but then you go ahead and put the date beside it instead of it just coming under the name, because I don't like it because you can't read it. Does that make sense as a question?
Yeah, I'm trying to. Oh.
Hey, Drew, can I tell her?
Absolutely, yeah, thank you. No, I love this.
Ms. Flores, just go to the, when you do the edit, go to edit and you'll have a box that appears on the left-hand side. Then you pick add text. And then once you add the text, you'll have a line you can put the date, okay? It'll automatically show up for you.
So I know how to do that, but my problem is at 11:30 at night, I don't know if they're gonna date it that today or tomorrow morning. So I wanna reflect the correct date. So how do I make them do it, not me?
Well, if you're the last person that receives the document, it's supposed to be you who fills out that part.
So it's not that, it's not the final. There's signatures that the date sits out to the right of the name, but they don't auto-populate because I'm putting them in. So there's documents that I'm uploading. Relocation has a lot of them. I want the seller to put the date in when they sign, not me. And I don't want it to auto-populate underneath it because you can't read it. So I'm trying to get a blank. So in FMLS, I can leave text boxes and the person who owns it gets to put that date in. I don't like putting dates in for people. I mean, there's a lot, 95% of it, it's fine, but there's 5% I don't want to do.
Diana, you can drag and drop that if you select the role with the initials or the signature and select display date, you can move that date just like you did the signature by double clicking on it and moving it out to the side. I do that on all mine.
Ah,
Yeah, they're individual.
so easy yet
Ooh, I
so
love
difficult under
conversations like
pressure.
this. Nice, Lindsay.
I was like, I feel her pain. I've been there.
Oh, that's great. Seriously, y'all.
I'm trying to think. So I do have another question. Is it possible to yank? So I sent a packet of 25 pieces of paper to someone. They're signing, and I see one that's wrong, or that it didn't. Like I'm fixing to pull one page out of my pile. Do I have to start over fresh and send them this, or is there some way I can pull it out of the pile that's already been made and then rearrange it and send it? Probably not.
I was gonna say, I mean, could you just do a resend action and tell them where they've missed that signature?
I've done that one, but this one I literally have to fix stuff on. So I don't know if I can pull a document that's ever, no, you got to start over.
Well, Jill Triola knows, I think she told me you can do that, but I don't know how to do it. I have no idea.
You can pull while the action of it being signed?
I don't think you can.
Unless I misunderstood what Jill was saying, let me text her and see.
Okay.
I don't think you can separate anything once you have signatures.
I don't think so either.
Yeah.
But Jill's in this office. I think she's in a meeting, but I'm almost positive you can't.
Okay, so
I think
need
once
to,
it's signed, you can't do anything with it.
Yeah.
so I
You
can
can
actually,
remove the signatures and just resend,
Right. You have to go
Yeah,
remove
you
everything.
can resend.
but you can remove from just one page. You still have to send all of them together, but you can resend for just that one page that you need the signature. They'll only have that field available to sign, right? I don't
does
know if that
anyone
answers.
know what this looks like on the receiving end? Like I've been with someone when they got it and they go, oh, look, I can just check here and it signs everything, and they didn't look at anything.
Do a test run on yourself. Do a
know,
test run on yourself. Doesn't hurt anything.
Hey, Drew, I thought you could split pages and take one page out.
You can. Absolutely.
Okay, so if you take that one page out that needs a signature, or the signature is missing, you can send that just one page, couldn't you?
But see, that's tricky. I don't think you can, because it was part of a full document that was being signed. So you're basically just adding in a signed document into something that has already been signed. So
I'm just gonna send them like the shortest possible version with that piece of paper in it, and just have them do that. And then I guess I'm gonna have to print, scan, email.
Drew, can't you just split them up like you showed us under your paperwork side and then send that one doc for signature?
Oh no, hang on.
you can technically do that. I'm more worried about it was a part of the
Legal.
large, the legal part of it being. Yes, you can technically pull a page out just fine, send that for signature, but it's more of that the legal side of it being part of a whole.
Oh,
Yeah, it just said no, error. You can't do it. So my problem is I can resend it out, but this is the one where the signatures are all, it doesn't matter if I get it signed, it doesn't look like it's signed. I've got to, I don't know what I'm gonna do.
Oh,
I don't know.
What's replacing our docs?
say that again?
What's replacing our docs?
Remine. Remine is replacing RDocs.
I can't make that work for anything under pressure.
Yeah, I've heard mixed reviews on it big time, really. But AppFiles, as a company, we're committed to it, and it's a pretty solid program once you get the swing of it. So